start with Manchester United, though, and this comment here from Danny Murphy, because I was a little bit taken aback.
Dynamic, more direct, more confident. Physically, they looked really good. And I think a lot of that comes from having players high up the pitch, especially the two new boys, who are just high in quality. It's chalk and cheese, Gab, honestly. And Man U fans can actually be, I think, quite positive about this.
So, Danny, what's the priority, you think, for Manchester United for the rest of the transfer window?
Well, some might think a goalkeeper, but I'd probably think a central midfielder. If they're going to play Bruno in there, someone with a bit more physicality than Ugarte and Casemiro, more powerful to do a bit more running for him. Even if they don't get anybody, that front end of the pitch is going to make their season completely different than last, because every team they play against is wary.
I mean, it's rare. I know we lost, by the way, but it's rare to get a little bit of praise on television these days. But what did you make? AR Authentic here says 100% agree with Danny. What do you make of his points there?
He still had to call us Man U, though, didn't he? I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing. I was listening, and then he said Man U, and I thought, you prick. He knows what he's doing. But I mean, waking up and trying to listen, because I always think Danny Murphy sounds like the most miserable person in the world. And he has slagged me off before, so obviously I don't really have a lot of time for him. But no, I mean, look, I think you do get the best analysis. And I think, this is probably why Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans like our content, and Chelsea fans, etc. Because I think when you praise somebody as a rival, it means more. So, and Danny Murphy's not the only one. I mean, I think a lot of people, even just out and about, talking to people over the last couple of days, most people have said, United actually played well. So I think that just leaves the frustration, really, that I was talking about it on the United stand this morning. Man United, Amrin wants a goalie. We have approached Emi Martinez. There's talk of Costa, Lemens, and he drops Onana, puts Bienda in, and Bienda does an Onana. And it's like, literally, Arsenal fans are over the moon. I was speaking to Robbie yesterday. They're well happy with that, and fair play. It was a good. That's how you win titles, winning games like that. So just frustrating that the area of the pitch. And I disagree with Danny Murphy about the goalkeeper. We do need a midfielder, but what cost us in that game, Bruno and Casemiro, I don't think is a good midfield, but that didn't cost us. We still would have got a point. What cost us was the goalkeeper. So that's the frustration. I think, I was fuming, really, not with the performance, but just to not solve that problem. And Amrin clearly wants to solve it. But look, it's for United, it's going to all be about consistency. You know it, I know it. Every United fan watching knows it. We're more than capable of beating Arsenal or playing well against Arsenal. And then next week, we'll play Burnley and lose. And I know it's Fulham, but that's the game I can't wait for now, because I sense that we've turned a corner. But to turn that corner, then we've got to go and do it against Fulham. And I think we will. And I think that's when we really start to grow.
Yeah, that is the thing for me. I hated what Roy Keane said around the expectations are so low. People are almost happy with losing. This shows me why Roy Keane failed ultimately as a manager, because he's one of those individuals that cannot identify that to get those consistency of results that everybody's craving, you have to perform how we did by and large on Sunday, but you have to do that every single week. Because what you might find is even the new signings, there's a little bit of nerves, especially at Old Trafford. We were so nervous and poor there last year. You might find, you're taking the shots a little early. We're not as relaxed in those moments. But if you maintain the performance levels, creating the volume of chances, and then start scoring, then start winning games, your confidence grows. So I think Man United fans recognized that was a good start, but I'm in the same boat as you. For me, I'm happy with elements of the performance. I'm happy with the way we attacked. I love the counter attacks. I love a lot of what we did. There's some things to iron out. Ugarte, don't shoot from there again. Also, I think when Ahmad comes on, I love his skill and his directness, but he did take up a lot of positions that Mbeumo was running into, and I think they need to sit down and say, look, when Mbumo's coming in, that's why we bought him to be there. You've got to go on the outside, because I think we scored that where they got in each other's way if Ahmad goes on the outside and actually takes one of the defenders out. But overall, I agree with a lot of what Danny Murphy said. I saw the clip go up on Twitter and I thought, oh, what's he saying now? And I was actually pleasantly surprised to hear a pundit actually talk about the performance and not just the result.
He's probably doing you, Terry. He's probably been on holiday on the summer and his missus has said, you need to be like that, Terry. You need to clip farm for likes a little bit. Say something positive about Man United and you'll get a few more followers. So let's see how long it lasts, though, because he is bitter.
Yeah, I thought you meant about me until I flip flop the other way. On that, right? I've got a really funny United video show, but I've got a tweet out here that got put out by a friend of mine, Staffy, who said that Cunha today is proof that we are ready to move on from Bruno Fernandes. Read this sentence again. Do you see that? Because the way our tens operated looked more the Ruben Amorim way. Is it proof that the end is nigh for Bruno, in your opinion?
Is that a thing now where you read this sentence again? Is because I read it the first time and understood it, so I don't know why I need to read it again.
Staffy's a lovely bloke, but he's a bit like that. He's just a bit like that.
You know what? I agree and I disagree. I think I said it myself yesterday morning that Cunha and Mbeumo are such a level up on Garnacho, Anthony, Rashford, Sancho in one game because they're not selfish. They make us play in a way that gets you on the edge of the seat, makes you interesting, and they make rivals actually quite like watching us because we're so shit to watch. You know, normally the ball goes into those players and they're selfish. They shoot, they run into dead ends. So look, yeah, obviously Cunha was brilliant. I thought Mbeumo looks a bit lacking match fitness because he came in a bit late. I think with Bruno, very good point, because that £100 million now would get us the goalkeeper in the midfielder we actually need. So, we should have probably sold Bruno if we were going to play him as a midfielder. I've said that before. But if I could play Bruno as a 10, I'd still play Bruno as a 10. I just think Bruno Fernandes still, if we're keeping him, which Amorim wants to, he should be playing as a number 10. We've got two number 10s. I'd put Bruno next to Cunha, and I'd probably put Mbeumo on the right. What do you do with Ahmad, though? That's the problem. So, and Mason Mount played well, but I think Bruno remember Rooney used to get put in the midfield, and it infuriated me because it was almost like we feel he hasn't got the legs for the striker position now, so let's put him in the midfield where he can dictate the play because he's so good on the ball. And he did have that. He always used to whip that ball out to the right back, didn't he? A brilliant ball, but the discipline to play midfield, it's a specialist position. I looked at Bruno's heat map on Sunday, and it was, he covered more distance than any other United player, but it could be a question on a question of sport. What position does this player play? Because the heat map was left wing, right back, left back, centre back. It was absolutely everywhere. And you're like, he's not a midfielder. So I think that with Bruno, it just has to work in the midfield, because the point that he's making, Bruno isn't playing in Cunha's position. So how can Cunha be closing off Bruno? Bruno would have to be dropped for a Mainu or an Agate, which isn't going to happen. Bruno is now a number 8, and Cunha's never going to play there.
No, I understand that. I mean, there was a big transfer rumor this morning that's a few more outlets in Spain have now picked up on this, that United could be in for Agume in the central midfield area, relatively cheap. I mean, is this kind of, would a player like this, do you think this is what we need? Someone who is strong, can carry the ball, athletic? Would this be sort of the next phase in improving our play? Because one thing I was really impressed with on Sunday was watching our players, and Mbeumo did it, Cunha did it amazingly, picking the ball up in the middle and driving. There were times where Casemiro and Bruno had the ball, and you just wanted them to sprint into the open space, but they don't have the legs for it. Would a signing like this, do you think, elevate the way we play?
Well, it's interesting, well timed from Rob Ladd, who's one of your moderators, saying Arsenal were looking at this lad. I don't know a lot about him. The way I sort of consume football now, especially post-COVID, is the only leagues I sort of have a sort of an idea on would be the Bundesliga and the Italian league. And La Liga is just sort of beyond Barcelona and Real Madrid. I just don't keep an eye on it enough. I don't know. Obviously, I saw the clips of Anthony at Betis when he was there, but I don't know. I've heard people saying he's slow. I've heard people saying he's quick. It depends on the profile of the player. I wouldn't like to cast a judgment on him because I don't know what he is. I know with Belieber, like you quite rightly say, he will get the ball and run with the ball. And I think from the midfield, that's going to be really important. And he's intense and he's quick and he wins the ball high up the pitch. So if this player is like that, then, very interesting. If he's a slower player and he hasn't, he's a jack of all trades, I don't think that helps us. I think we need somebody next to Bruno who is either really like Belieber and is going to be up and down and, can run with the ball, or somebody who's like probably Wharton, who can, sit and, dictate like a Rodri or something like that. So I don't know where he fits in. I've never been the sort of person that starts saying, I've seen him play 50 games. I don't know enough about him, to be honest. But it's encouraging that there are options, and there are options out there. And we have to, if we're not getting Belabor, we certainly have to go and get someone, Terry. We can't do nothing.
No, I agree. And look, I'm in the same boat as you. I haven't watched him play enough. I've watched bits and pieces since everyone's been talking about him, but then a lot of people I know and trust, KJ as an example, he's absolutely in love with him. When you look at him statistically, so if you look at the data, and that this is compared to Belabor, I mean, his key passing and progressive passes is better. The carrying of the ball is not quite as good, but it's so much better than our midfield players. But his forward passing, his dual percentage, all of that is high. And what I would say is sometimes you do like if you go and check out Hayden Hackney in the Championship, his data looks much better than Belabor's. The problem you have is that is the Championship. This is La Liga. And you are talking about whether people think it's the best or second best. It's in the top 2 of the Premier League when you look at physicality, technicality, and ability needed. So he's doing it in a very hard league. I look at Ugome this way. I don't know enough about him, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, my day, he's the greatest signing ever." But everyone.
The thing that worries me, Terry, is a lot. Sam Marvel's just said it there. Is that Casemiro is faster than him? I don't know, but I've heard a few people saying he's not very quick. So if he's not very quick, that worries me a little bit. But I don't know whether that's true. So
maybe I don't know enough about him. So I mean, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'd have to go and check that out as an example. But for me, this looks like it could be. This is what I call, when I know people hate this word, but I love it. I love it because it winds people up, if I'm being honest. But you have this, what is it they call it now, like the market opportunity. It could be available for around £25 million. That for me is a risk I'm personally happy with my club taking, because if it doesn't work out, you can still probably sell him on and get the vast majority of your money back, as opposed to dropping a £90 million player who then also doesn't work out. So I think for me, it's just one of those things where I think we need to be a little mindful, but maybe give it a go. Again, I can't overly judge. On United, though, before we go to some super chats, this video here, because I found a fact out afterwards, is amazing. Take a look at this.
14, day 19, day 22, day 25, day 29, day 33, day 36, day 50, day 54, day 57, day 6.
Let me just stop it a second. So just to give context, this man has said until Man United win 5 league games on the bounce, he started this in October 2024, he will not be cutting his hair until we do it. So just so everyone understands.
Day 63, day 68, day 71, day 75, day 78, day 82, day 86, day 92, day 99, day 103, day 106, day 110, day 113, day 117, day 120, day 125, day 134, day 140, day 144, day 148, day 152, day 155, day 159, day 162, day 178, day 183, day 187, day 190, day 194, day 197, day 204, day 208, day 211, day 215, day 218, day 223, day 228, day 232, day 316 of not cutting my hair until Man United win 5 games in a row.
He's going to suffocate soon.
I want to throw this out there as a fact that's come out today, right? And I laughed so hard, but also felt sorry for him. None of Liverpool, Arsenal, or City won 5 league games in a row last season. Just putting that out there to this man, right? So the best teams in England didn't do it last year. He could be waiting a long time. I'll tell
you what, that's a better perm than Brian May, that is. I mean, that's Audrey Roberts' classic Coronation Street. That is. But you've got a problem. If the way his hair grows, if I did it, mine would start. My hair's quite fine, so it will just drop.
Yeah,
he's got volume. That's going to start going over his nose at some point. He's gonna have to start wearing a band or something like that.
He's like a lion, literally, it's like a mane. But yeah, it's one of those things, because obviously we could have made it 2 on the bounce if we won against Arsenal when it's back to 0 again. But he could be. Listen, I like it, because if he gets to cut his hair, it means United have, to win 5 on the bounce. I know that people go expectations, standards. For me, I don't know what it's like anymore to win 2 in a row, let alone 5. So
we can do 3. We can do Fulham, Burnley, Grimsby, but then you've got Chelsea, Man City. So it's finding the 5.
He's got to be. He's specified league games as well.
Oh, he's got no chance.
He could be in a lot of trouble. I don't know when he's getting his haircut next. We have to learn to trust our recruitment again, is what Austrian United said. Yeah, I think we will, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time for people to trust it. You've got to see improvements. More in Mbeumo's, more Cunha's, more if Šeško's a hit. That will make people believe a little bit more. But yeah, it's going to take time for that.